CP3.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's right. It's Monday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, coming to you live from the lab, episode 234, season 6. Coming to you live from the lab. We got Robbie G back in the building after taking off a couple of weeks with doing some family things and wishing a happy anniversary to him and his wife. He was out doing big things in the Virgin Islands. You know, I wish I could travel like Robbie. Even Zach has traveled more than I have since he's been on this earth. So I got to get my passport and start traveling like Robbie, Zach, and Liz. Robbie, how you doing tonight, good sir? Glad to have you back, man.
I'm glad to be back. It's was a whirlwind. We did 3 trips in 4 weeks, but I want to thank Brian and everyone for doing such a great job filling in while I was gone. I was definitely tuning in and checking it out, and it's all on sportsothp.com. If you missed any of those episodes, you guys did a great job. And Carol, you were doing extra shows. You did a boxing show last week. That's up on the website, and you also did a NFL one as well the week before on Thursday. That's also on the website, so I hope people go check out those videos if they missed it. But yeah, you guys did a great job. Lots of news. The Nats have been a little bit down lately, but we'll definitely break down that. The Olympics are here, which I'm super excited about. If anybody does want to know more about my travels, I made a video for each one of my trips, including I just released a dive video yesterday. It was actually free diving, since my wife is pregnant, so we weren't able to actually scuba dive. But I was able to free dive and get some pretty cool shots, and I hope that people really like that video. If you go to sportsothp.com, you'll get all of the episodes, the default landing page. But if you click on our YouTube channels, you get Carol. I know Carol does a lot of other shows as well, so you can catch all of his shows on his YouTube channel. In fact, he's streaming right now live on there. And then if you click on my YouTube channel, you'll get all the snorkeling stuff. I've been doing a lot of other videos, family style vlogs, all sorts of different things on there. So the Phillies and the Nationals are in a game right now. The Nats are 4-0. Unfortunately, Phillies got 2 men on, 0 out in the bottom of the 6th. I'm also watching the Olympics on NBC right now. They're actually doing the gymnastics. We will start off with our baseball talk, as Carol and Brian have been doing so great. We'll then shift into NBA Finals talk. We'll bring in Tim to join Brian for that talk. We'll also talk a little bit about the Olympics. Some Olympians from Maryland getting gold and silver to start the Olympics. We'll talk about them real briefly. And then we'll sort of end the night talking a little bit about the NHL draft. And both the expansion draft and also all of our the actual draft that's every year, where we get all of the rookies and talk about how we replenished some of our defensive players, and we'll also talk about free agents. I know that Carol will have some thoughts on that. We have some people that we need to re-sign, aka our captain Alexander Ovechkin. I'll say really quickly on the top. Rumor is 4 years, $40 million. I think that's fair. I wish that he would take closer to 8 to give us a couple extra million to work with. Right now, we're right up against the cap. But we'll talk about that at the end of the show. We may have to move a player or two. Some players might be coming back. There's rumors that Braden Holtby reunion with the Washington Capitals, the right picks are being made. So it's one of 5 possible destinations for him right now. So lots of different stories going on in the NHL. We'll break all that down at the end. But before we get into all of that, first of all, Carol, how are you doing? And then second of all, let us know about we've got some extensions that happened today. And I know that training camp is just around the corner.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, today was a day full of adversity in the life of a car salesman right now. So, yeah, it's been a rough day. I done had a couple of adult beverages, so bear with me tonight. I'm not sure what might happen. I haven't been on the air in a while, so I'm going to try to keep it together tonight as long as we're on the air. But yes, on a happier front, We have extension news for the Washington football team, which training camp opens tomorrow down in Richmond. Unfortunately, I won't get a chance to make it down there this year like I did 2 years ago. Had plans to go down there last year, but the COVID protocols wasn't able to make that happen. So unfortunately, they're only going to be down there for a week this year. Then they'll be back up in Ashburn for the rest of training camp. We had a extension announced today of Jonathan Allen, defensive lineman, the first of the first round picks for the defensive line that the Washington football team has made over the past 5 seasons. And it was a 4-year, $72 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. And as I always say, the money guaranteed is not counted against the cap. So you basically got him for 4 years, $42 million. It's a little bit over $10 million a year. For what he's done for this team, you have to lock him up. And unfortunately, Philly has just came closer with a 3-run home run to make it a 4-3 game. And when I saw Austin Voth coming into the game, I already had a bad feeling. And then when Bryce got on, and then they hit the double to put second and third with no men out. And then now a 3-run home run by Hoskins. And it's a 4-3 game after the Nationals put together a nice inning and get a 4-run cushion. And there's still no outs in the bottom of the 6th. So the rain on that parade of the extension signing, unfortunate home run given by Austin Voth. And yeah, this has been the story of the Nats all season. Get a lead, the bullpen or the pitcher can't hold the lead. They took Ross out for a pitch hit situation. He was pitching well. I'm not going to criticize Davey, but I'd left him in there. But getting back to the Washington football team news, Jonathan Allen just signed the contract for an extension. He was on the last year of his deal with the 5th-year extension. Next up is Deron Payne and Montez Sweat. You have to remember Brandon Sheriff is under the franchise tag. Looks like 9 times out of 10 after this season, he will be most likely leaving the team. So that frees up another $18 million under the cap that hopefully the team will be looking to re-sign Deron Payne and extend him also, because you want to keep this defensive line together, as much of it together as you can. And with the way the rookie contracts are set up right now, you can take advantage of the 5th-year option and still try to keep the line together as long as possible to try to, make that make that championship run to, get to the ultimate goal. So it's a good sign to see the team sign an extension to one of the prized members of the defensive line. I saw a lot of reaction from the fans talking about he's overpaid and they shouldn't have did that. And what about Deron Payne and Sweat? This team is pretty comfortable under the salary cap right now. And, a lot of folks are upset about the Fitzpatrick deal, but the, 1-year, $10 million deal, that's a good thing.
So I have a question for you. So the $40 million is what he's owed for the 4 years, right? The rest is a signing bonus?
Yeah, the rest is guaranteed. When they do guaranteed money, that money doesn't count against the salary cap per year. So if he signed a $72 million deal and he gave $30 million in guaranteed money, that means it's really a 4-year, $42 million deal, which breaks down about 10.3.
So why wouldn't teams guarantee more, just so that way they could count that less towards the cap?
Well, some teams do that, like what we've seen with Aaron Rodgers. I think he got like $70 million guaranteed on his contract. It was like $140 million or something like that. So some teams do that, but it's more of a salary cap situation where I guess they're mapping it out the way they do, because we have some undrafted free agents and we have a lot of rookies on the team and young players that are still in their rookie contracts. So their numbers aren't really that high. So right now, they're looking down the road because you still have Montez Sweat coming up. You got Deron Payne coming up. You got Tim Settle coming up. So, and then you're going to have Chase Young coming up in another 4 years, 3 years now, because he's going into his 2nd year. They exercise a 5th-year option. So, along with the salary cap, even though there's supposed to be a big jump with the revenue, with the contracts that's been signed, is what I'm hearing going into 2023 after, recovering from the COVID stuff. Hopefully it continues to stay that way. and they say that the salary cap is going to take a big jump going into 2023. Will there be more money available? So I think they're just, setting themselves up to re-sign some of these first round picks that's going to be coveted. Granted, we're not going to be able to keep all of them, but you want to keep the key pieces. And even though some folks think Jonathan Allen is, has been overrated, he's, listed as one of the top defensive tackles in the league on Pro Football Focus, which studies every snap, every play, and breaks it down. So you can have your opinion, but he's graded very high against the rush, against the pass, and, being a defensive lineman. So you have to set the tone for the other young guys to see that, hey, they're going to take care of me. Because if you recall back, there's been several years we haven't re-signed our first round picks and they've gone elsewhere and played well and got, Super Bowl rings. Kendall Fuller, with the Kansas City, got a ring. He's back here now, but, we've seen this over and over again. He wasn't a first round pick, but draft pick going somewhere else and flourishing and, getting the ring and getting the payday, and our team still, where it is. So it's a good sign. Camp starts tomorrow. I can't wait to see, all the competition.
Basically, he got the exact same contract he had before, right? He was going for $10 million, Jonathan Allen, before, and then
yeah, pretty much. I mean, the rookie deals are pretty much signed, still delivered for first round picks. So there really isn't much negotiating when you sign your first contract. When you sign the 5th-year option, it's like 120% onto what you are already getting as a rookie. Maybe like 120 to 150%, something like that. So when they get a chance to be a free agent, most of them want to test the free agent market unless the team puts a contract like this in front of him. And him being a young defensive lineman, he's now 26. So, he's getting established. He's good. He's a leader. He isn't that vocal leader, but he's a leader on the field. And it felt like it was key to lock him up. And I think Deron Payne will be, the second guy to get locked up, because they want to start showing the guys that they're drafting that, hey, you produce, we're going to take care of you. We don't want you going elsewhere. We want to, lock you up and let you be, the player that you can be here where we drafted. We drafted for a reason. That's to be with this franchise.
Cool. So, unfortunately, we got a man on second in this Philly game. It's a 2-0 count right now, 1 out, bottom of the 6. Philly's creeping in here. Unless there's anything more breaking news to the Washington football team, let's get into some baseball talk. We're going to bring Brian in here for that, and I'll let you guys chop it up. I've had a busy week training a brand new puppy, so I haven't seen as much baseball. But I am excited to sort of hear your breakdown. I know that the week started off well, but it kind of got a lot worse. And I know the Orioles really gave the Nationals some trouble here, especially in that weekend series. But Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, Brian. Watching this game right now with Austin Voth and coming off of that unfortunate sweep by the last place Orioles. I'm in the day I had today, like I said, I'm already 2 shots in and already 2 beers in. So I don't know what might happen tonight, man.
I don't know. I don't know why they took out Joe Ross, man. I wasn't a great decision in my book. He was pitching really well, and you take him out. I understand trying to score more runs, but I don't understand. Joe Ross is pitching really well. And take him out while he's cruising. I don't think it's a good decision by Davey.
Yeah, that's what kind of had me scratching my head. I understood, like you said, the inning before they had some things going and decided to pinch hit for the pitcher, but he was locked in. He was looking like one of his better starts of the season. And yeah, Davey, I know if it was Max or if it was Corbin, he would have, second guessed about it and kept him in there. But I think Davey's trying to find something. He's trying to get this team on the right path, especially after getting swept by the Orioles. So I'm not really too mad at him. I'm more mad at Austin Voth than Davey, because this dude, I mean, he's had many opportunities to solidify himself as a starter. Now they put you in the bullpen and you still, giving up home runs like you're the starter. I'm like, how many chances do you think you're going to get? And now in a crucial game against the Phillies, who's in second place right now it's a closer game than it has to be, because he comes in once again and is ineffective. It's a frustrating thing to see.
Yeah, man. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Trust me.
Yeah, and I'm going to be winging it tonight because I didn't get a chance to take my notes because, as I mentioned, I had a rough day today. So tonight I'm going to be winging it. Probably won't get a chance to share it to the groups because I got to look it up on my phone. So it is what it is.
I'm actually going to run and grab my phone real quick so I can share to a couple of our groups. But you guys keep going.
Yeah, because a certain social media site keeps on restricting my views, but I'm not going to get into that. The last week, like I said, I'm going to try to behave tonight, y'all. But like I said, I've been drinking, so I'm going to try to get off there and let y'all get the basketball so I don't get in some trouble. Last week, the Nationals went 2-4. We were hoping this team would go undefeated last week with the schedule they had against the Marlins and the Orioles, two last place teams. But unfortunately, things didn't turn out the way we had hoped. As I mentioned, it went 2-4. Currently, phone is acting up. Bear with me. Currently, they're 45-53, fourth in the NL East. We were hoping it would be 500 going into this week, starting the week against the Phillies, as I mentioned, as our in second place. But yeah, it hasn't been a good after the All-Star break for the Nats. They didn't go into the break in a good place, and they definitely didn't come out in a good place because they had a chance to sweep the Marlins and losing the last game of the series and then getting swept by the Orioles. And the way they got swept made it even worse with the Brad Hand situation again against American League teams. And Brian, we're going to get into that a little bit later on because I'm just going to start to say whenever any league games against the American League teams, he needs to be the setup man and let Hudson close it out because whenever it's an American League team, he just implodes. I don't understand it, man.
It's crazy. I was gonna say it's crazy that it's happening against the Yankees. Obviously, we've talked about that game in depth, and we've seen it against other American League teams as well. Didn't he blow a save against the Blue Jays or some other team as well from the American League?
Yep.
And now this game against the Orioles, I don't know what it is, but Brad Hand can't get it done against American League teams, and we'll see if he's on this team after this week. We'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned last week, I never understood why they didn't re-sign Doolittle and keep Hudson, the winning combination from the World Series. I just didn't understand that. I believe Doolittle's in Cincinnati now, so I don't know. Sometimes they overthink things and thinking they need to bring in Hand, and I know you said he had a nice size contract too, so maybe they can move him, hopefully. But after that outing yesterday, I don't know if anybody's going to pick him up with the way he's been pitching lately. I mean, he's only blown 4 saves, granted, but still, you can't do that in key situations when you're trying to at least salvage a game. Your team has got you to the point to where they're trying to win the game, and you walk the bases loaded. Really, come on. But I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Like I said, it's been a rough day. Going back to recap this past week, first game against the Marlins was started the week out great with an 18-1 victory. John Lester took the victory. He went 7 innings, giving up 6 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts with no walks. Ex-national Ross Detweiler got pounded for he only lasted 1 inning, giving up 7 hits, 8 runs, no strikeouts, no walks. The Nationals pretty much teed off on good old Ross. I loved him when he was here, but he had a different uniform on, and the Nats treat him like a red-headed stepchild. Juan Soto homered, Josh Bell homered, Trey Turner homered, even John Lester homered in this game. So it definitely started the series out on the right foot for the Nationals. Going into game 2, looking for a sweep to get back on the right side of 500, but that led into game 2, which was a 6-3 victory for the Nationals. Austin Voth, who just gave up the 3-run homer, he got the victory. That put him at 3-0. He went 1 inning, giving up 2 hits, 3 runs, all of those earned with 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Richard Blyer took the loss. He went 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 hits with 3 earned runs, no strikeouts, no walks. And Brad Hand earned his 20th save of the season, going 1 inning, giving him no hits, no runs, with 1 strikeout and no walks. In this game, Josh Bell hit his 100th home run career, and the Nats, Victor Robles, he had a RBI single in the second. Brian Zimmerman had an RBI double in the fifth, and Josh Bell homered in the eighth to help get the Nats the second game of this series and going for the sweep against the Marlins. They unfortunately took a 3-1 loss. Dylan Floro earned the victory for the Marlins, going 2 innings, giving up 1 hit, no runs, 2 strikeouts, and no walks. Brad Hand took the loss. That dropped him to 5-3. He went 2 innings, giving up 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 of those earned with no strikeouts and 1 walk. And Yimi Garcia earned the save, his 14th of the season. He went 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs, with no strikeouts and no walks. Andrew Stevenson had an RBI double in the bottom of the fourth to account for the lone Nats run, and they ended up losing that game but winning the series 2 out of 3. Brian, did you get a chance to check out any of this series? And I think you saw the first game because I think it was on during the show. And what do you think about this 2 out of 3 versus the Marlins and how it's set up for this debacle versus the Orioles?
Yeah, I did see the first game because it was the day of the show and the Yankees weren't playing that night, so I figured I'd watch. And yeah, in the first game, the Nationals absolutely crushed them, like you said, 18-1. A dominating effort. Even John Lester hit a home run, which nobody saw coming at all. I mean, I think that's only the second home run he's ever hit in his whole career, which is crazy.
It was actually it was his fourth, and actually
fourth home run. Wow.
FP Santangelo called it before he hit it because he said the at bat before that one, he had hit the ball pretty well and got a base hit. And he was like, the way he's been swinging, he can take one out if he barrels up on it. And right after he said that, he hit the home run.
Dang, FP calling it.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So yeah, easy win. That was an easy win for the Nats, obviously. The second game, again, was a nice win, obviously. I was impressed, especially with the hitting the first 2 games, especially Josh Bell. He homered in the first game of the series and the second game of the series. Isn't the second game is the game I believe Eric Fetty started and pitched a really good game as well, if I'm not mistaken. So you like to see that as well. And you thought all was going well into this third game, but then they lose 3-1 in extra innings on the third game. You guys know how I feel about the extra innings rule. I think it's a load of crap. But
you haven't changed on it a little bit, Brian. You haven't seen it and be like, okay,
no,
I can deal with it. You can't deal with it at all.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm still not a fan. They're getting rid of it after this year, and I'm very happy about that.
I mean, it adds a different dynamic to the game, I guess.
Nah, I'm not a fan. I don't like it. It's not real baseball to me. And it obviously.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I think I'd be okay with it if it was starting in like the 11th inning. But
yeah,
it can't start in the 9th inning.
Yeah, I can't start right after the 9th inning. I can't get on board with that. But they're getting rid of it after this year, which is good. And it hurt the Nationals in this game. Obviously, they lost 3-1. They gave up 2 runs in extra innings. Hand takes the loss home. That sucks, obviously. And that just set off what was a really crappy weekend for them in Baltimore this weekend.
I don't even want to talk about this. I don't even want to talk about this series because it was just horrible. One, for the fact that Max couldn't pitch, and then the so-called trade rumors come out, and I saw actually another post come out today saying that he isn't going to invoke his no trade clause if he is to be traded. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Robbie, how do you feel about
it? I mean, I don't want us to trade Max. I wanted him to retire at Nationals. So I don't want us to I wanted us to keep Trey as well. I don't know. I feel frustrated because I understand those are very valuable assets, and so it could be very tempting to move them. But I would still rather build a team around those guys and maybe shed some of the other contracts. But I don't really know the answer. I don't know who people really want, or if you can make enough moves, or if honestly it's just to shed some players and then to restock the minor league so that way you play for futures. Like there's some talk that our minor league teams are a little bit bare, and maybe I think I saw a stat somewhere saying that we were like bottom 5 in the league in prospects currently in a minor league, and so there could be some need for trying to get some prospects back if we truly don't think that there's anything left of this season. But it's tough because you're sort of in that spot right now where I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Brian, do you think we should be in sell now mode?
Well, I would not trade Trey Turner. Absolutely not. I would keep Trey Turner at all costs. I think he's a player you absolutely want to build around. And same with Scherzer too. I don't know why they trade Scherzer, especially like some of the rumors I've been seeing. Like they want to trade him to the Mets. Like that makes no sense. Why would they trade him to the Mets?
Oh,
Why would they trade him in the division?
I saw the Giants. Now, if Rizzo trades Scherzer to the Mets, I'm gonna need bail money because I'm gonna go down there and have to backhand Rizzo. I'm gonna need y'all to raise some bail money for me because that would be one of the most asinine trades I've ever heard of in my life.
I saw it on Twitter today. Somebody was talking about it. That makes no sense to me either. But I don't know. I wouldn't trade those guys. There are guys on this team that I would consider trading at this point with the way the season's going right now. I would consider trading a guy like Josh Bell or Josh Harrison, or even if you can move Kyle Schwarber, someone like that. There are players on the team that I think that you can definitely move and get players and prospects back for. But I would not, like, under no circumstances would I ever consider trading Trey Turner, for example. I don't know why they would even remotely think that's a possibility because Trey's really good, and Scherzer, I don't really get that one either. I don't really get it either.
I mean, Rizzo said they were going to be buyers and sellers. That was before the 2-4 week when they were coming out of the All-Star break and were hoping to get on a positive swing like we've seen this team do before. So, I mean, as y'all mentioned, the prospects have been bare. We have traded some of our prospects to, get players to, put a band-aid on a broken leg in certain situations. So, I mean, if I can, like I said, I can't ever see trading Trey. I was upset when they let him go the first time and were able to get him back. And he was a key member of the team. He's a 5'2" player. I mean, just look at what he's done so far this season. I mean, first time All-Star. I know his stock is high right now, but I'm not sure who they have behind him who they think could do what he does. But he's not easily replaced with what all he does in the infield and at the plate. And Scherzer, I mean, like Robbie said, after he signed that deal, that with the deferred money that he'll be getting paid to like 2035, I figured he was going to retire national. And I mean, like I said, Rizzo has done a hell of a job since he's been here. I'm not going to question him on, until I see what, comes out of it. If they do trade him, what they're going to get for him. But I can't see trading those two guys either. I mean, it just, I can't. Nah, I don't want to see that. Let's get into this 3-game set against the Orioles. It's currently still 4-3, top of the 7th, 2 men on, 2 out, and an unfortunate line out by Josh Harrison that didn't get out the infield, but if it did, it definitely would have been a run scored. But middle of the 7th, Nationals up 4-3 still, going to the bottom of the 7th. And hopefully Voth, that's right, they took Voth out. They got Finnegan in there. I like Finnegan. He's been back off the IL. But going back to
I
this.
think it's Clay, actually. I think it's Sam Clay.
Oh, Clay?
Yeah.
I'm not really sold on him, but he's pitched well, but I really don't have the confidence in him. Finnegan, I don't know why. I like when he comes in because he pretty much dominates when he comes in there. Clay sometimes can give up a home run or two, so
yeah,
so it's a little weary. But let's get into this unfortunate sweep in the Battle of the Beltway versus the Orioles. The first game was a 6-1 loss. Paul Fry earned the victory for the Orioles. He went 1 1/3. giving up no hits, no runs with 3 strikeouts. Patrick Corbin continued on his inconsistent season, drops him to 6-9. He went 5 1/3, giving up 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned with 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. Josh Bell homered to account for the lone run for the Nationals. The second game of the series was a 5-3 loss. Matt Harvey, ex-Met, earned his 5th victory of the season, going 6 innings, giving up 1 hit, no runs with 4 strikeouts. John Lester, who filled in for Max Scherzer, took the loss, dropped him to 3-5. He went 5 innings, getting 3 hits, 3 runs with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. Dylan Tate earned the victory for the earned the save, his second. He went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs with 2 strikeouts. Juan Soto hit a solo home run in the 7th, and Trey Turner had a RBI single in the 8th. And 2 RBI double, and that accounts for the 3 runs for the Nationals. And the final game of the series where the Nationals tried to salvage and at least win one of these games went into the 9th inning with a lead, and unfortunately, Brad Hand found a way to have a flashback to, the playoffs when he imploded and did the same thing this game. Cole Sulser earned the victory for the Orioles, going the 3rd of an inning, giving them no hits, no runs, no strikeouts, no walks. Brad Hand earned the loss, and I say earned the loss because he definitely earned it by walking the bases loaded. He dropped to 5-4. He went a 3rd of an inning, giving up 1 hit, 2 runs, no strikeouts, and 1 walk. I don't know. Didn't he walk the bases loaded, Brian? It's saying 1 walk on here.
No, that's right. He gave up a hit.
And he did give
1 walk. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. As I said, I've been drinking earlier, so I had a bad recollection. I think
it all happened really fast, so it kind of felt like he walked the bases loaded, I guess.
I had a bad feeling when he came into the game off the break because I looked and saw it was an American League team. I was like, 1 run. Now, if it was a 3-run lead, he's going for the save. Okay, I feel a little bit better because Davey had time to take him out before he gave up all 3 runs. But a 1-run lead against an American League team, I have no confidence with this guy whatsoever. Daniel Hudson came from Toronto. I had his utmost confidence in him when he came in the game. He did blow some saves, but for the most part, he came in, handled his business, and did what he's supposed to do. I haven't felt that comfort level with Brad Hand whatsoever at any point in this season. And it looked like we just got breaking news on the Capitals front. Brendan Dillon has been traded to Winnipeg for a pair of 2nd-round picks from the Jets. That just came through not 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm reading about it right now. Interesting. All right, so it's 2 second-round picks, right? That's what we got? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, there's still talks that we're going to move some prospects and some D players around, maybe to try to get Nate Schmidt back from Vancouver, or there's talk about trying to get Schultz back or Schmidt back, or there's always talk about all these former Capitals. Yeah, nice. Bernie is just letting me know. Yeah, Brendan Dillon traded Winnipeg for 2022 and 2023 2nd-round picks. It's 1 each year. Cool. Bernie made some really bold assumptions in our draft that I'll talk about a little bit later that came true. So he's been a really good insight that we've had. So I appreciate Bernie as always. All right. So have you gone over how many of the baseball games?
Games? This is the last game of the Orioles series when Brad Hand gave up a 1-run lead and ended up, letting the Orioles walk off and sweep the Nationals. Ryan Zimmerman had a 3-run home run in the top of the 6th, and I don't even want to talk about the rest of it. Like I said, Brad Hand, me and Brian have had conversations offline about this guy. I didn't understand the signing when they signed him. I didn't understand why they didn't re-sign Doolittle. But At the end of the day,
I have a good segue because you don't want to talk about it. I actually have somebody on the line that does.
go right ahead.
All right, Tim, do you want to come on in? Bring in our own expert, our Orioles insider, Tim, who I'm sure was happy that he got 3 wins this weekend. How are you doing today, Tim?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, it was a good series for the Orioles. It's not really important to their season because they're tanking, but it was kind of weird to see the Orioles win. I feel like the Nationals maybe lost some heart thinking that they're gonna get a lot of players traded, so they really didn't come with the energy. And Scherzer getting scratched, I think, was a big deal. It probably, I think he was hurt, but there's a lot of rumors around the team, so that probably distracted the Nationals too. And the Orioles have been playing better after the All-Star break. They've been 6-3. They finally won a game in Tampa, which is very rare for them. So they're not playing quite as bad. They're playing pretty loose, and Mancini's been good. So hopefully the Orioles will hold on to him somehow.
Yeah, I hope they don't trade Mancini. That would suck.
Yeah, he's by far the most popular player, and he's been a good story this year. Did well in the home run derby, but the Orioles are bad. Tanking is in the MLB. There's a lot of teams basically as bad, but it's been a rough year.
So, one thing I do want to mention, Carl, did you talk about the Player of the Week award for Juan Soto, or was it Player of the Month? It was one of them that came across today, right?
Yeah, it was Player of the Month. He's a reigning Player of the Month right now till the end of July. He came out the All-Star break, hot. He went into the All-Star break, a little inconsistent. The home run derby definitely helped his swing out, and he came out hot. Unfortunately, he's cooled off a little bit, and the team has also, and it's yeah, it's not looking good right now for the Nationals. They have to figure out something and get some consistency from either their starting pitching or their bullpen, because neither one of them has been consistent enough this season to sustain a nice run to get them back in it. They had a run earlier in the season, but then that's before they went on that losing streak. And now, they're back in fourth place when they were in second, 2 games above 500. Now they're 8 games below 500 after the All-Star break and trying to figure it out, which is never a good thing. It's right before the trade deadline, so I'm sure some moves are going to be made. But I've mentioned over and over again, there's going to be 3 teams coming out of the West, so there isn't going to be a wild card. So if you don't win the division, you're not going to the playoffs. Simple as that. So they got to figure something out. Mets are playing good ball. The Phillies are back in second place. The Braves are still playing better than the Nats, and they lost Acuna Jr. for the rest of the season with the blown ACL. So I know this team has injuries also, but they had injuries in the World Series season, and they found a way to overcome. They got to find a way. I just don't think we had that same veteran presence that we had before that could, find a way to get it done. You see Ryan Zimmerman's in the lineup more now. They had him in more of a pinch hitting role, but we see them getting him in the game more with his bat and his experience to be a leader on the field, along with his bat at the plate. So hopefully this team can figure something out and get a winning streak going like we've seen them do before and get back in this NL East race.
So U.S. men got 6th place in this men's 200. So that's cool. So did this game start? I feel like this game is taking forever. It's almost 10 o'clock, and we're only in the 7th inning. Was there a rain delay? No, right?
Nope. It's just a really long game.
Long game. Okay, that's what I was
Division
like.
baseball.
Yeah. All righty. Let me go over the upcoming schedule real fast. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we continue the series versus Philadelphia. There's 7:05 starts on Tuesday and Wednesday, and a 1:05 matinee on Thursday. And then we start a series against the Cubs Friday at 7:05 on the 30th. Saturday, July 31st at 7:05. Those are both home games. And then on Sunday, it's another matinee, 1:05 game in Washington. And then next week we play another series against Philadelphia, this time in Washington. So next week at 7:05, we will be talking about this exact same matchup. But real quickly, Carol, what are your thoughts on Philadelphia and the Cubs coming up?
Well, 7 games in 7 days. They're 8 games under 500. They got to win at least 3 out of 4 against the Phillies, and got to win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs if they want to get back in this thing. It's still early. There's still plenty of baseball left, but they got to start putting together some consistent baseball and winning baseball in order to get back in this race. And the time is now, and they got to make it happen. So, I'm not saying they're going to win 3 out of 4. The way they, gave up the lead in this game quickly, it's still close. But they got to make a move sooner or later, and this is the time. We thought it would be last week when they had 2 last place teams. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. Now you got a second place team. I believe the Cubs in second place in the Central also. So they got to answer the bell sooner or later.
Right. So one thing I wanted to note, you notice how there was 7 games in 7 days, as you said. They actually don't have a day off until August 9th. They play every day between now and then. So, there isn't an off day to get things right. They just got to kind of have to find their way. And some interesting matchups. It'll be Philadelphia, and then it will be Atlanta, and then the Mets, and then Atlanta again. So, I mean, if they want to make moves in the division, they're going to have to beat some of these divisional opponents. Before we end this segment, Brian, any final thoughts on Philadelphia? And then I'll get Carol's thoughts on Chicago.
The Phillies series, like Carol said, they really got to win 2 out of 3 to have any chance to get back into this divisional race. At the bare minimum, 2 out of 3, if not a sweep. Otherwise, they really got to consider selling, I think. And as far as the Cubs series goes, I'm assuming my foot's feeling well. I'm going to be going to the game on Friday. And it's kind of interesting because the Nats and Cubs could be looking very different by the time that Friday game rolls around. The Cubs are kind of in the same boat as the Nats, where they might be sellers, they might not be. They're kind of like trying to decide what to do. So both of these teams could be looking very different by the time the series rolls around on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. But these teams could be very, very different squads.
Yeah. I'm actually going to a baseball game as well on Friday, but I'm going to see the Frederick Keys. Taking Zach for his birthday, and we're going with Tommy and Denise and Liz as well. So we're excited. We're big Frederick Keys fans. We got to go to their first win of the season. And sadly, they're no longer affiliated with the Orioles or any of the major league teams. Just a fun watch. So I'll give you guys an update. I know that people are dying to know about how the Frederick Keys do, but I'll let you know next week on that. I'm excited that you're going to get to go. I've yet to actually go to a Nats game. It's funny. I've been to a Frederick Keys game since this whole thing started, but I have yet to go to a Nats and Orioles game. So I have to make that happen here soon. Carol, your quick thoughts on Chicago for the weekend series?
Like I said, they gotta win at least 2 out of 3 to get back in this division race. Luckily the Mets haven't pulled too far ahead, and they still have a chance, but they gotta do it now. Simple as that.
Yeah, that was a good strikeout right there to end the 7th inning. The guy was running, but it was a nice pitch, and they got out of that.
Yeah, I
jam
told you
right
I like Finnegan, man. I like him.
they're
He's been
holding
consistent.
One run lead, so it's tight. We'll definitely give more baseball updates throughout the rest of this. Carol, any final thoughts before we switch gears and talk a little bit of NBA Finals and bring Aruna?
No, pretty much just gonna sit back and watch the Nats game. If anything happens, I chime in, and I'm gonna just sit back and enjoy my cold adult beverage.
Sounds good. All right. All right, we'll let Carol enjoy the baseball game and root on. I also have that on. I also have swimming on. We'll talk a little bit of Olympics. We're going to bring in Arun right now on video. Let's see if this works. All right, I am going to share my screen. Hold on, let's see. It's been a while since we've done this. All right, so we're going to switch to the NBA Finals view. One more thing, and exit full screen there, and that should work. All right. I did it. I remembered. All right. First of all, Arun, how are you doing tonight?
Not bad. Going through some NBA withdrawal, but at least there's Olympic basketball.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about both this and Olympic basketball because it's interesting. Hadn't lost a game in a very, very long time. Unfortunately, France beat us. But before we get into that, I know that you guys have done a great job of breaking down and joining Brian to talk about the NBA Finals. I've been watching all your great roundtables, so I appreciate you guys for carrying on without me. It's been a very exciting NBA Finals. You know, Phoenix Suns were up 2-0. Kind of thought it was going to go a very specific direction in this series, and then Giannis put on some black Air Force Ones. Some people think that changed all the luck in the series. They said it was stomping shoes, and he was able to put together 4 straight wins and win a championship, first time in 50 years for Milwaukee. So exciting time for Bucks fans. You guys have broken down games 1 through 5. Great. I won't rehash any of that other than going into this last game. Milwaukee obviously had a 3-2 lead. I'll break down the scoring real quick. We'll talk about some of the players. Obviously, one player in particular stood out. It started off with Milwaukee taking a pretty commanding lead. They had this opportunity to win this at home and not have to go back to Phoenix. And I think from the start, they really put a lot of pressure on. They scored 29 points and held the Phoenix Suns to just 16. But the Phoenix Suns were not done. They outscored them 31-13 in that second quarter. And in the third quarter, Milwaukee outscored them 35-30. But it was still very close. And it was close all the way up into the final 2 minutes of this game. About 2 or 3 minutes left, I kind of thought that Milwaukee was just going to pull away with it. It never got a big gap, but I just didn't think that it was necessarily in doubt either. But Milwaukee was able to outscore 28-21 in the fourth quarter. Obviously, Giannis had an incredible game. His story about from getting injured to coming back and being a dominant force in this series, 50 points in a series clincher is incredible. He had 2 assists and 14 rebounds. Chris Middleton played well at 17 points. Drew Holiday had 12. Lopez had 10. Bobby Portis, many Wizards fans might remember, had 16 points. It was a cast of characters that helped Giannis, but it was really all Giannis. And then on the Suns side, Chris Paul did play well. He scored 26 points. A couple other players did okay as well. Devin Booker put up 19. Not necessarily bad numbers, and it wasn't like that they got crushed. It was only a 7-point victory in the end, but I just kind of felt like Milwaukee came in, asserted themselves, and kind of dominated. I'm going to get each one of your guys' take on this game, and then your overall take after that on the Milwaukee Bucks in the first championship in our lifetime. I'm going to start off with Brian and get his take on this performance and this final game in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, this is obviously an incredible performance by Giannis. The Bucks scored 105 points, and he scored 50 of them. I mean, just incredible effort. But what I think is most impressive is we've always talked about how much Giannis really sucks from the free throw line, but he was 16 of 18 from the line in this game. His best performance from the free throw line probably ever. And it's just, he was incredible. And I was impressed with Middleton. I think played well too in this game. Really, it was Giannis and everybody else. But I was impressed with Bobby Portis. As a Knicks fan, I watched Bobby Portis when we had him last year, and if you had told me that he was going to be a huge part of a team that wins the NBA Finals, I honestly wouldn't have believed you. So that's just crazy to me. He was like the 4th person they interviewed on ABC after the Bucks won the Finals. So yeah, I'm really happy for Milwaukee. Obviously, they've been waiting a really long time, but at the same time, I also feel really bad for Chris Paul. This is probably the closest he'll ever come to winning the NBA Finals. I don't know if he's ever going to get back to this situation. And they had a 2-0 lead in the series, so it sucks for him. Like I really do. As happy as I am for Giannis, and as happy as I am for the Bucks, I feel really bad for Chris Paul as well. But yeah, great for the Bucks, great for Milwaukee. I'm happy for them, and they deserve it. They were the best team for sure.
Yeah. Tim, what are some of your thoughts on this final game?
It was kind of reminiscent of Game 5 in the sense that the home team took a huge first quarter lead and looked really dominant, but then had a terrible second quarter and the tables were turned. So, I mean, Milwaukee definitely pulled away when it mattered, like you said, and it wasn't really in doubt. I mean, it was an exciting game and every possession counted at the end, but, you know, it just looked like the home crowd was going to steer them to the victory. But I mean, clearly Milwaukee just was way more mentally tough this year than past years. I think they needed those crushing losses to really come through the adversity this year. They came back in the Brooklyn series. I think that was probably the most impressive victory they've had the whole playoffs, and really that was kind of, you know, going to decide the finals winner probably in the end. So I think that kind of steeled their nerves, and they never freaked out when they went down 2-0. They're used to doing that and coming back. And like Brian said, I mean, this is probably Chris Paul's last trip to the final. You have to imagine he scored 26 points, so he really did play well in the second half. He hit some shots, but you know, he wasn't able to counter 50, and that was one of the best finals performances, you know, in many years for Giannis overall. Just a couple 50-point games, and I think he's going to be remembered, you know, like a top 10 player because of this finals. So great for him, but you got to feel bad for Phoenix. They've lost 2 finals 4-2, and arguably they could have won both. They were very competitive, but I guess they'll have to wait many more years to get a ring.
Crazy. Arun, I know you always got some interesting stats. What sort of things did you notice in the series?
Yeah, obviously the Giannis 50 points is huge. He's the only player to have 50 points. I mean, he's the only player to have a Defensive Player of the Year, multiple MVPs, other than Michael Jordan. So he joined that club and an NBA Finals MVP. It was just not a good game for the Phoenix Suns overall. I know Chris Paul had 26 points, but they didn't even put Drew Holiday on him in this game. They decided to put him on Devin Booker, and Booker struggled. He was 0-7 from three-point range. Even though he had 19 points, he could have done better. And Chris Paul probably could have had an even better game. He had 26 points, but in the closeout game against the Clippers, he had 40-plus points, and he also had 37 points in the closeout game against Denver. So Chris Paul kind of had to pick it up because his teammates weren't doing much, including Aiden. He had 12 points, and as you guys mentioned, Bobby Portis had 16 points, and that was just probably the difference of this game, along with Giannis hitting his free throws. Middleton didn't play really that well, but he hit the key shot down the stretch that put them up by 6 points, and that probably sealed the win with a minute to go. And Drew Holiday was 4 of like 19 from the field, but he played really good defense on Devin Booker and Chris Paul. He's probably the second most valuable player this series, but obviously Giannis was really awesome. And he also followed it up by ordering 50 chicken minis the next day at Chick-fil-A. So shout out to him for eating 40.
I'm happy you mentioned that. If anyone missed that, it was on Instagram, and then ESPN reposted it a couple of days ago. That is one of the funnest videos I've seen in a long time. Just you can clearly tell he has not been sleeping all night. He's ordering all sorts of things, letting people come and like take pictures and touch the trophy. My favorite part was like the team's looking for the trophy. I'm out here. I gotta let them know where it is. Like it was funny. It was great. It reminded me of like back with Ovi jumping in fountains. Like that's what championships are all about. Just fun moments like that. And just congratulations to him. And just I'm just so impressed they were able to stick with a plan. And he really didn't want to leave, and wanted to win a championship with Milwaukee, and he saw it through. A lot of players don't do that anymore. A lot of players move around. I mean, there's already talk of Kawhi, where he's going to go next, and Is Chris Paul going to opt out and go somewhere else? And there's just all these rumors already, and it's refreshing to see that he didn't really need a super team. And I know that some people think that Chris Middleton and some of these other players are good, but I think I don't. They are all stars. I don't want to try to devalue them, but they didn't make it super team. Like you can have multiple all stars on a team and not have it be a team of super players from other teams that come together to win it. Right? There's something different about that, at least for me. And I thought that was really impressive. And I liked the Phoenix Suns story too. I wasn't like I was rooting against Phoenix. I was honestly, it was one of the most neutral finals I've seen in a long time for myself. Like often I find myself really rooting for one team or the other, but I liked both stories. I'm very happy for Milwaukee. I do feel a little bad for Phoenix. I thought that they had a great story too. They got me rooting for them by the time they had gotten to the finals as well. I'll let each one of you guys give a final thought about just overall, Milwaukee having the championship, and any other thoughts you have about the NBA season, and then we'll talk a little bit about Olympic basketball as well. So, Brian, I'll let you talk first about what you think this first championship means. In our lifetime. I mean, it's not the first ever, but 50 years is a long time.
Yeah, this is great. Obviously, Bucks fans are really passionate. We've seen it with not only how loud they are in the arena, but how loud they are outside the arena in the Deer District. There were 65,000 people outside the arena at that game on Tuesday night. It was a lot of people, and Milwaukee partied like crazy. I agree with what you said about the video about the Chick-fil-A. I think it's hilarious. It just goes to show you how much Milwaukee loves Giannis and Giannis loves Milwaukee. So I'm glad he stayed. I hope he never leaves Milwaukee. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I hope he never leaves Milwaukee because it's a great story with him being there. And they absolutely deserve this title.
Yeah. Tim, what are some of your thoughts?
I'm really excited for the city because Milwaukee, they have the Packers pretty close, but they don't win a lot of championships, especially Milwaukee City. So they had 60,000 people or something there, and I thought Giannis, besides the Chick-fil-A run, which was hilarious, he made the great joke at the press conference that he was demanding a trade, and because a lot of people thought he was going to leave, so you have to give him a ton of credit. And I hope he calls Bradley Beal and tells him to stay in D.C. because one day if Beal perfects his game, he could do something like that. I mean, I don't believe that, but maybe one day. So I'm just glad that it wasn't the big teams, the Lakers. No offense. Teams like Golden State again. It was refreshing to have two teams that rarely make it this far. Like you said, both cities are great stories. Either city winning would have been kind of heartwarming. So I thought that was kind of, exciting. And then it was a great series. The only thing that could have been better is if it went to Game 7. But at the same time, I'm glad that Drew Holiday got on that plane because he was the only good American yesterday. So good for him.
Right. I agree with that. And also, it would have been sad for the Bucks to win in Phoenix. Like the only way that story ends right is if Phoenix wins in Phoenix. So, I was happy that the Bucks were able to win in front of their home fans, and so that was kind of cool. And the city erupting and all that. But I agree with you. I just wanted more basketball at that point. I was kind of hoping for overtime, and it was close at the end, and it was exciting. Arun, any final thoughts that you have on this NBA Finals?
Yeah, shout out to Dante DiVincenzo for getting a championship ring, even though he didn't play the second championship. I believe he's won that he's been injured, one in Villanova as well. And Giannis, great performance, all-time great. And he completed his Kobe challenge of winning a championship. So congrats to Giannis.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I know that some of you guys haven't really watched the Olympics that much. Have all of you guys watched the NBA side or the basketball side of the Olympics, or not any at all? I'll start with you, Brian. Have you watched? You said you just watched basketball. Is that right?
I watched Team USA. Yeah, I watched the game against France.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Tim, did you watch that game?
No, I mean I know what happened. I followed it.
Okay.
So.
Have you watched any Olympics at all?
Yeah, watched some highlights. Like I work with several people from the Philippines, and they won their first ever gold medal today, female weightlifter. So
Oh, that's kinda cool.
I watched that video randomly at work, which was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's one of the things I like about the Olympics. It's kind of random. Like sometimes I'll find myself watching a sport that I would never ever watch before, just on a whim. I haven't watched as much of the Olympics this week just because there was so much NHL draft stuff, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And my phone's been blowing up. I got a lot of information about some of these moves and how moves that we think might still be coming. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. I know there's people actually commenting on Facebook Live wondering if we had talked about hockey yet. We have not really. We broke some of the news, but we'll talk a little bit more in a second. But I know that as the games go on, I'll definitely watch more of it. Arun, did you watch the basketball game?
Yeah, I watched the U.S. basketball game and the U.S. women's soccer team win against New Zealand, but that's about it.
Okay, great. So we'll talk about those things. Well, Tim, is there any other Olympic things that you would like to talk about? Because then we can let you go if you haven't watched the basketball game. I don't want you to have to talk about a game you don't know much about. But
no, I mean I'm just kind of sad that Ledecky got silver, but like we said this morning, she ran a great race. She went against a monster. So that's sad, but Maryland's still a dominant Olympic force. I'm very proud of my state. That's all.
yeah, so here's a headline, right? Third fastest time ever she took silver. So it's not like she did bad. And she actually had numbers that were close to what they were getting in Rio, I wanted to say. Because I think her time at Rio is the fastest time ever, right? I think she is the record. And so it was only just below that was who she lost to. And this was the best time that she had had in 5 years. So she did really well. And I'll just quickly mention another person from the state of Maryland, Chase. He won the men's 400-meter individual medal. He got gold in that, and he's going to be racing in the men's 200-meter individual medley. So if people don't know, individual medley means you do all 4 different strokes. In this case, you do 400 meters of that in total. So it's cool that another Maryland person, he had actually said that obviously Phelps is his idol, and it's just kind of cool that some of the best swimmers in the world over the last 20 years, and maybe of all time, have all come from Maryland. So I just thought that's kind of cool, especially because we're a DMV podcast. So I did want to just mention that real quickly. Well, Tim, I really appreciate you helping to break down basketball all season long. And I know that basketball season will be around just before you know it. But if you always ever want to talk about any other sports, you're always welcome here. And congratulations for the Orioles. I know Carol doesn't want to hear it, but I know that you're a big Orioles fan. So congratulations on that. Right now in the bottom of the 8th, it's 4-3. Nats are still up. There's 2 men on. There's 2 outs. So we'll see if they can get out of this jam. The count is 1-2 there. But Tim, thank you as always for helping us break down basketball all season long, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks guys. Have a good night. Have a great rest of the show. It was a good segment.
Thank you so much. All right, so Arun and Brian, I'll let you guys help me break it down. I actually will be honest, I didn't get to watch this game, so I'll rely on you guys. I was shocked because Team USA was winning towards the end, but a big run by France kind of gave them the win. Brian, I'll let you give your take first on this game.
You're right. The USA did lead for a good portion of the game, but then just at the end, France went on like a 12 or 13-0 run and just really pulled away. USA just at times did not look right. Like just looked like they were just letting France take over at times. And I mean, guys, France is a good team. They've got Rudy Gobert, obviously, who was the Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. They got Evan Fournier, who seems to play better. A lot of these guys seem to play better on the Olympic stage. I'm sure we'll talk about Luka Doncic in a minute, but I mean, I was just really not impressed from USA in this game. I've really not been impressed with them over the last couple of weeks. Really, they've lost, including the exhibition games before this, 3 of their last 4 games. going into the tournament. The chemistry just doesn't seem right. I don't know if Popovich is really that interested in the job, to be honest with you. Like he doesn't seem like he doesn't have anything to prove. So why would he really care that much about the job? So yeah, this is not like my biggest takeaway I came away from that game was like this is not the dream team or even the redeem team. Like these guys are not anywhere close to that level. This is an okay team. They might be good enough to scrape by and win the gold medal. They're not like going to dominate the way any of those teams did. I was really unimpressed with them in this game. I'm sure Arun agrees with me.
Yeah, Arun, what are your thoughts? I'm playing up the stats right now.
Yeah, the U.S. took like an early lead. They were winning by double digits, and I felt like a lot of isolation ball in the second quarter, specifically by Jason Tatum. He was 1 of 7, I believe, in the first half. And I mean, he had 2 buckets, and both of them were like slam dunks, not in transition. And he was playing pretty awfully, and then France closed it pretty close. And then in the fourth quarter, the U.S. actually took a 7-point lead and looked like they were going to pull away. But then France went on a 14-0 run or something like that. And one of the plays, one of France's players got injured on the play, and the U.S. didn't drive the ball to the basket. Instead, they settled for a 3 and they missed it. It just comes down to maybe it's a different ball, and the U.S. can't really knock down the pointers that they're getting. Kevin Durant with a foul trouble trying to guard Rudy Gobert. Maybe Pop, that was a bad adjustment by him having him guard Rudy Gobert. And Tatum was bad. Damian Lillard, we were down by 4, and they threw the ball to Lillard. He fell down on the play, and he tripped France, and they called the technical on Lillard, and that sealed the game. I still think the U.S. can win, but they have to take it more seriously, or at least knock down their open threes. They had a lot of good looks, and specifically guys like Tatum can't just jack up shots if they're not isolation ball is not really going to work. Like I guess like Rudy Gobert is the only player that would make the U.S. basketball team. I don't think, even though Evan Fournier had a great game, not like he's comes off the bench for the Celtics, and Tatum is like scored 50 points in an NBA playoff game. So maybe rules are different, the ball is different, but the U.S. is going to have to dial in more seriously if they want to take away the gold.
Yeah. I'm looking at the upcoming schedule right now. Brian, any
they
other
play
thoughts?
Iran, and then they play the Czech Republic, and Thomas Satoransky from the Wizards, or ex-Wizards, he's the Czech Republic.
Got it. Here it is, Men's. So here are the upcoming games right here. So yeah, so we play Iran, and that's at 12:40 in the morning our time, right? On Wednesday.
Yeah, that's correct.
So okay, so 12:40 a.m. on Wednesday is the next game against Iran. We should be able to get back on track there. Again, that's our first loss in Olympic play since 2004. We also play Czech Republic, and that's on Saturday, and that's an 8 a.m. game. At least it's a game that's in a time that people can watch. I guess people could stay up to 12:40. I don't know how many are going to do that though. So that'll be an interesting game against Czech Republic. We still definitely have a chance to make it out of this preliminary round, which is all that really matters. And then it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. Arun, do you know about who else would be a powerhouse? Who do you think is the biggest team the United States has to worry about in this tournament?
The other team would be Australia with Patty Mills. Like he plays like a Hall of Famer, like in international play. Spain,
and they lost their first game. It says right here to Slovenia.
Yeah, obviously Luka Doncic had 41 points.
48
or 48. Yeah. Spain beat Japan. Argentina lost to Slovenia. They don't really have to worry about Argentina.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Australia. Yeah, they beat Nigeria. Okay, I see that here. And then Spain usually is pretty good. Are they?
Yeah, Paul Gasol's on the team, and Ricky Rubio, and they have a lot of. I mean, Rui just dunked all over Paul Gasol because he's in his 40s, but they still play pretty well, and they've given the U.S.
Do they have both Gasol brothers?
I have to double check. All I know is that.
I mean, I know they did last time. I just don't know if both are playing this time.
Yeah, I don't remember if Marc Gasol is playing or not. I know.
He is. They're both listed on the roster here. So, rookie Rubio.
I know the Czech Republic have Jan Vesley with them, so that's pretty funny.
Oh, that is interesting. Well, that's cool. So, that'll be good. Well, next week then, maybe I'll have you guys join me again, and we can break down how those two games go, and any other type of Olympics. Either of you guys watch any of the other Olympic events?
I'll just echo what Tim said about good Maryland swimmers. It's just really impressive that this tiny state can produce such great swimming talent. Like, even with Katie Ledecky coming in second, like, she's still amazing. I'm impressed by Katie Ledecky, no matter what. And obviously Phelps, of course, was a legend. So I just want to echo what Tim said. I think it's really cool that Maryland has a great swimming history.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to stop the screen share there, and that way if Carol wants to come back that he can. But yeah, well, I'm sad that they lost that first game. I assume we'll break down 2 blowout wins to come back and win the group. I assume there's 3 games, right, in each of the group ones?
Yeah.
They reseed. So that'll be interesting next week. Arun and Brian, I'll let Arun have his first crack at it. Any final thoughts or things you want to talk about before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see how it turns out this week for both the Nationals and the Wizards. Maybe since the NBA draft is coming up, it'll be interesting to see if the Wizards actually trade Bradley Beal, and the Nationals, if they trade either Max Scherzer or Trey Turner in the coming trade deadline. So that'll be interesting to follow. And no RG3 news. So thanks for having me on.
That's good. All right. Thank you, Arun. As always, I appreciate your time and insight, and we'll pick your brain about some Team USA basketball, and we'll talk a little Olympics next week with that. So appreciate your time. And Brian, let us know what's been happening lately on your podcast. And is there you drop shows on Fridays now? Is that right?
Yeah, just Fridays. I did one last Friday. I thought it was a pretty good episode where I just talked about basically the Yankees, the NBA Finals. I gave a review of Space Jam 2, which I watched last week and actually didn't hate as much as I thought I would, honestly. So that's all on Friday's episode. This past Friday's episode, there's going to be a new episode coming out this Friday. I asked Arun actually if he wanted to be on it, so hopefully we're able to make that happen to talk about the NBA draft. That happens. I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, it should be a good episode. And also, before I get out of here, DC United won yesterday. Also, they won 1-0 over the Red Bulls, New York Red Bulls.
Which is good, right? Because you don't like that.
I do not like the Red Bulls. No.
Right, exactly. So
yeah.
So that's good. All right. Well, that's. Well, I appreciate all that. I also appreciate you helping me break down DC United and soccer news as always. Team USA women's soccer, they lost their first game, but they
won the second.
They won their second game, so that's good. And
they have a big one tomorrow against Australia. It's at 4:30 in the morning.
4:30, like this upcoming morning?
In the morning, yes.
Okay, so people, if they want to stay up another 6 hours, they can check out some women's soccer. And, all right, well, I appreciate Brian breaking it down as always. Maybe we'll have you back on to break down some more Olympic basketball next week. And everyone, go check out sports.thb.com. Click the podcast partners button. Click upon further review with Brian Brennan and check him out. And I'm sure that you'll like it, especially if you're a fan of any of the New York teams or Space Jam, it seems. But we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Talk to you next time.
All right,
Right,
Brian,
sounds good. All right.
Take it easy, man.
Carol, my phone's been blowing up with this trade. A lot of stats coming out about it. Let's talk a little bit of hockey here to end the show. We'll talk about some things that we need to address. One thing, I thought that Ovi would have been signed by Friday of last week. If I was a betting person, I would have been wrong. The talk is with Brian McClellan that they're going to give him what he wants, and they're going to try to sign him by Wednesday of this week. So that's not too far away. The rumored price right now is 4 years, $10 million a year, which is about what he's being paid right now. Right now, I believe it's 9.5 is the cap hit, so it's a little raise just to pay him back for all that he's been able to do for the team. Of course, you read a lot of conflicting things online, Carol. Some people are like 10 million is way too much for what he could produce now. You know, he's not the same Ovechkin as he was before. We were paying less before. And then some people, like me, are saying we owe everything in this city for hockey to this guy, and he deserves to get paid. And I know that this part, maybe you probably might not agree with. I'd pay him even if it meant us not getting anything more because he deserves it. Do I want us to win again? Of course, right? There's no doubt about that. But like, if the question is, do you not pay him and use the $10 million to like pay for young prospects and try to groom them for the future and don't pay Ovi? The answer for me is no. Carol, what are your thoughts on re-signing Ovechkin?
I mean, that's a tough one because you want him to be a lifetime capital. You know, he's brought the cup to the DMV, and if he still feels he can play, I say let him play. $10 million, I know the hockey salary cap isn't as plentiful as the NFL salary cap, so I know that's about 8% of the cap, 10% almost. So I mean, I see your point. I would rather pay him than see him go somewhere else and continue to do what he does, score goals, and then potentially get the record for all time goals scored. So I mean, I see your point, and he still has plenty in the tank. He's still, still being able to score and do what he does. They know when he's in the OB office that it's coming, but they still can't stop it. So as long as he has that, he's a deadly weapon on the ice, and hey, gotta pay the man to do what he does.
Right. So just to give people a couple of numbers that might not understand salary cap in the NHL, which many people don't. Right now, our projected cap space is at $13.6 million. So you pay him $10 million, you're left with three, right? 3.6, right? Not a lot of wiggle room. You still got to sign Sammy, and supposedly we gave qualifying offers to Samsonov today. So that means we gave him, I don't remember what the number was, but it's a number and the ability that if somebody else puts a higher number on the table, that we would match because it's restricted, I believe, free agent. So, but it basically means that we get number one negotiating rights with him. But another team could put in, I believe, an offer to bump up the price. But I'm not sure about that. I know that you could do that in the NFL. Most of the players we got to keep in this draft. Let's talk about expansion draft for a second. The Kraken unfortunately took Vitek Vanacek, which I was hoping they wouldn't do, mostly because Vitek Vanacek was a very low cap hit number for us. So if they'd taken anybody else, they would have given us a little bit of cap relief. But because they took him, and we didn't have Samsonov under contract yet, it kind of left us with only some of the goalies that are in the like Craig Anderson and the Henrik Lundqvist of the world that are like injured reserve and stuff. So we don't even know what their situations and how they're going to be going forward. But we have not re-signed Zdeno Chara, for people who were paying attention to last year's stuff. Actually, no, we don't even have Craig Anderson or Lundqvist under. That's right. But we do have a lot of people that are non-roster. Connor McMichael, and there's other people in the minor leagues. We did have a draft this weekend. We took 4 defensive players, including a Brent Johnson, which I think is hilarious, right? And it turns out when they're interviewing him, they're like, "Are you any relation to the other Brent Johnson that played for the Washington Capitals, who's on like post games and who was a goalie?" And he said his parents may have actually named him after that Brent Johnson. And so, but he won't confirm or deny, and the parents have never given him a straight answer. And so he challenged Tariq El-Bashar to interview his parents and get the real story out of them. So we'll see that story obviously come out in the near future. But again, 4 defensive players, including, I believe, the first 3 draft picks, all defensive players. Brett Johnson was slated to be taken 75th by our own Bernie, who was reporting on that. They actually traded that pick to the New York Rangers, so they came back a couple of spots to the 80th pick and was still able to get him and get an additional pick in this draft. So they went in with 5 picks, came out with 6. So great, they got the player they wanted at that spot, and they got an extra pick out of it. So that was a good move. They were able to get a goalie, 1 centerman, and 4 defensive players, I believe was. And so the idea was is to restock the cupboard in Hershey, because a couple of the Hershey players might move up, especially on the defensive side, and then we might move on from some of our defensive players because they carry a really high cap hit. So that's a bit of the news from the draft side of it. I didn't really particularly like who the Kraken drafted. I don't think they have a very strong team, to be honest. I was much more impressed with the draft of the Vegas Golden Knights. They're not done. They can still move things in free agent. They stocked the cupboard on defensive players. Like, they got so many defensive players. So I got to imagine they're going to flip some of those defensive players for some forwards to some teams. I think that was their play. The other thing that was very obvious very early on is they took a ton of big players, 6'5" and over. So they're going to be a big team, especially on the blue line, and that's going to be tough for teams to deal with. It'll be interesting to see if that strategy works, because lately a lot of teams have been going smaller and faster and not as much bigger and heavier on the defensive side. I think faster is really good for the regular season, and bigger is really good in the playoffs often. But if you don't make it to the playoffs, it doesn't really matter if you've got that big, heavy hitting style. So it'll be interesting to see who they're able to flip, what moves are still to be made. And so those are some of my thoughts. I don't know if, Carol, if you were paying attention to any of the hockey moves. I know you're more in football mindset, baseball this time of year. But do you have any thoughts about any of those things that I talked about?
No, we talked about how major this offseason would be for the Capitals, and seeing if they could get back into their championship form before Obi retires. Hopefully they lock him up. Lock him up and get him taken care of, and then figure out the other situations out with the salary cap. But they just got to get it together and try to get another Stanley Cup run in, because we damn sure enjoyed that season, enjoyed that championship parade, and want to go to another one, honestly. And quick segue to the Nationals. They are up 5-3 now, going into the bottom of the ninth. Victor Robles reached on an error, and Alcides Escobar scored to give the Nats a 5-3 lead, going into the bottom of the ninth with Brad Hand taking the mound, looking to secure the save to win the first game of this series versus the Phillies. So hopefully the Nats can get it done.
Yeah, indeed. I can't believe this baseball game with no delay might outlast our podcast that started so late. I just don't like
divisional baseball, man. It's crazy, man.
I mean, this is now 3.5 hour game, right? And it's no delay, and we're now going to the bottom of the ninth. And we got Brad Hand on. It's tough because I really wanted this game to be over and in the books before I left. I wanted to know how this game turned out. So we might just stay here and cover this bottom of the ninth inning live. I really want it in the books, right, Carol? I mean,
all right, man. Hey, look. I already told you how I feel about Brad Hand. I've been drinking. I'm trying to keep us on the air now. I told you it's not an American League team, but I really don't have much confidence. It's a 2-run lead. But if something happens, you better get the beat button ready, because I might be dropping some F-bombs and some other things on the air.
Right. There you go. It'll make for some good clips for Twitch. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, so. Man. I really don't have no confidence when this dude takes the mound, but we're going to see what happens. 5-3 lead, bottom of the ninth. And
I'll tell you real quickly, we got Tom Cobble was referencing the last pick at goalie. The dude is 6'6", and he credits Andre Vasilevsky as his greatest influence. So it's always good to have a big goalie in the pipeline. We'll see what we do with goalies. A lot of goalies that we've liked in the past might be available via trade or free agency. We have Philip Grubauer, who might be available. Braden Holtby, a return and a trade might be there. Oh shit, is that fair?
Yep.
God damn it.
Leadoff double by Brad Hand.
Yeah. Oof. That's not a good way to start.
Oh,
Maybe I'm regretting this decision right off the bat. But you can watch us be really mad live on air to end the show. And then how come the Nats can't beat the O's? It's a good question. I'm not sure what the Orioles have. The Orioles have kind of done this all season, but they've come around with some timely wins on their end. I'm not exactly sure why they have to come to us. But who knows? That's a tough one. But all right, Carol. So real quickly, we'll watch baseball. We'll talk a little hockey while we watch a little baseball. What are your thoughts on Kuznetsov? Do you want to give him another shot at this, or do you want to move him and see what we can get, and see if we can get a couple players in return for him?
Like I said last week, I was surprised that they, protected him and didn't let him go. But like you said, with his contract, probably nobody would take him anyway.
It's interesting because I was looking into that a little bit more, and I wanted to talk about that. So it's a good segue. I don't know. I originally thought, he's got a no trade clause, so we had to protect him. But it turns out you have to have a no move clause, which they're different in hockey. So a no trade clause means specific teams that you decide that they can't do it. But if that team didn't exist, then they're not on that list. But there was one player on the Washington Capitals who has a no move clause. And do you know who that was, Carol? Want to make a guess?
Ovi?
No, because he's not signed.
Backstrom.
There we go. Very well played. So Nicholas Backstrom is the only one who had a no move clause, and we had to protect him. So that's a fun fact that Gil let me know about that I didn't know. So it turns out even if you got a no trade, you could still be picked up in an expansion draft. So that's a good, interesting little tidbit. But I agree with you. I think that the problem is he still has value, right? And so the question is, do you give up that value for nothing, or do you try to trade that value? And they gambled, and unfortunately, I think lost. I think Vitek Vanacek is a really good player. Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I'm shaking my head at. Brad Hand with a wild pitch, putting the Secure on third base with no outs.
So right now we're talking birthdays on Twitch chat. Carly just turned 25. She's one of my moderators. We got Champ, who's another one of my moderators in Twitch chat. It's his birthday on Wednesday, so happy birthday, Champ.
What's up, Champ? Happy birthday, bro.
And so that'll be exciting. I know he's doing a show, I believe at 7 o'clock on his channel. So on the True No Spots, I'll give a quick shout out there. And then I know that Carly, I'll give a quick little shout out for her. She's modding for me as well. I know that she just moved into her tiny home up in Maine. So she's going to be doing a mobile stream from the tiny home. I believe it's Wednesday and Thursday of this week at noon, but you can correct me in chat if I'm wrong on that. And Champ says, what's up to UCP3. So again, we got 2-2 count, bottom of the ninth, man on third. A nice pitch. Like that pitch. Got our first out right there. Got him swinging. What are your thoughts on that pitch right there?
About damn time. This dude, man, he makes it so dramatic every time he comes in the game, man. Why can't we just get a 1-2-3, close out, let's go do this. He always has to make it difficult and make you bite your nails off and sweating for the last bottom of the ninth, man.
So who's coming up to bat? Down 2 runs, man on third.
Come, see that? Oh God!
It is none other than our old friend Bryce Harper. Let's see how this works for the National.
This
setting up badly.
I'm about to grab another bottle with Jim Beam, man. I'm about to have to grab
so the first pitch is inside there to Bryce Harper. I don't think they're going to give him anything too hittable, to be honest here. First base is open.
You cannot have the game-winning run come to the plate with 1 out. He has to get Bryce. That's what he's making the big bucks for. He has to get Bryce out, man. I'm sorry. He has to get him out. He cannot allow him on base in the winning run to come to the plate.
Ooh, that was nice. You see that ball just spun and sunk right in. Of course, Bryce is going to complain about it, but that was a perfect pitch right over that corner. Oh, come on. I like the idea of Bryce like starting to talk a little shit here. That's going to help us get our next
Oh yeah, that was a nasty
call,
pitch.
hopefully. Right, look at that curve. And it looked like it was going to miss. It started on the inside, and it looked like it was going to miss on the outside, but it just hit that outside corner. Again, bottom of the ninth, 1-1 count, 1 out. Nats are up 5-3. The Phillies have a man on third. Bryce Harper is at bat with our reset here. Ooh, he tried to put it in the same spot, but that time it was outside. Bryce didn't go for it this time. It's a 2-1 count.
And you got to stay away from Bryce's power zone. If anything, if it's left in that middle, it's gone. So, Brad Hand, earn your paycheck.
This is fun. We haven't done play-by-play for baseball in a little while, so especially to end a game and to end a podcast. So it's kind of an exciting way to talk about it here. Oh, that one's a horrible pitch. He's never going to go for that. And now we're in trouble. It's a 3-1 count.
And Andrew McCutchen, Nat Killer on deck. He has a field day against the Nats. Gotta get Bryce out. Gotta get him out.
Yeah. So Carlos just giving me a little shout out for my scuba videos. I appreciate that. If anyone wants to check out my free diving videos, you can go to my YouTube channel, sports2thb.com. Carol's YouTube, my YouTube. You got all the latest podcasts. You can also check out the True Note Spots podcast on there, on our podcast partners. Check that out. They've got a couple of shows this week. Wrestling's been heating up. I know there's fans in the stands, and some exciting storylines and some players, wrestlers rather, switching to AEW from the WWE. So, awful pitch. Never going to go for that. Now we got a man on the corners, first and third. I'm still not upset about this play. Now it sets up the double play.
Yeah, but it's Andrew McCutchen.
Set up the double play, Carol. Don't let Bryce Harper beat you.
I told you I had a rough day, man. Andrew McCutchen coming to the plate. 1 out, 2 on. Nats up by 2.
This is not looking good for us. So somebody just put some juju into the world.
Yeah, I'm about to go ahead and grab for that next shot of Jim Beam real quick. Let me go ahead and get that ready.
It's good. People like reaction videos, right, Carol? People, maybe we'll clip this up. This could be the next viral video, right? Yeah. It's good. Just don't throw anything at your TV. They're checking first base, which is a waste of everybody's time. But I understand why they're doing it. But I don't think Bryce Harper is going to try to steal second. But anyway, Tom Gobble saying Nats bullpen is a train wreck. I would agree based on what I'm watching right now. I haven't watched a ton of Nats baseball this year, but this is...
They've been locked in at one stretch, but it's been inconsistent the most of the season. And, I mean, they're trying to find their way.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did I call it? Did I call it, Robbie?
You did.
Did I call it?
I'm so sorry. Fuck. Why did...
I have no confidence in this guy closing the game whatsoever. I have more confidence in a condom with a hole in it than I do when this guy comes in with the 1-run lead.
Oof.
I can't... Oh, my... 2 games in a row that he snatched defeat from the grasp of victory.
Yeah, we've... when is the trade deadline?
I believe it's Thursday.
We may need to... Well, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's a good question. Are we buyers or sellers, Carol? Do you need a closer, or do you just give up on the season? What are your feelings right now?
You're 9 games under 500. You just got swept by the Orioles and walked off by the second-place Phillies. I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. I'm still going to say wait until this series. It's a 4-game series. This one, Yesterday's loss hurt. This one hurts worse because I saw it coming. When you can see the train wreck coming and you want to yell, get out the way or something, there's nothing you can do because it's coming. And you just have to sit there and watch it. And I saw it happening.
Yeah,
I tried
he
to be
called all the way
optimistic for the
through. I
ground
know.
ball double play, but not the way Hand pitches. And
I don't
McCutcheon,
know, but I don't know if that ball is going to get you where you want to go. He threw a fastball.
McCutcheon is a Nats killer. You
Well, why
don't
you
throw
throw
him if you
fastball there?
already
Why
put
don't-
Bryce on. You might as well walk the bases loaded and get away from McCutcheon and bring in Hoskins. Because McCutcheon, even when he's with the Pirates, when they sucked, he still would go 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and shit.
Yeah.
And the fact
I-
you're going to throw him a fastball almost right down the middle.
I mean, that was a terrible pitch. I just don't. I don't know why they didn't throw like a slider or something that is gonna have some spin to it. I mean, he rocked that, and I don't understand why he thought he was gonna get by him. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, well,
You know how I
You
said I
know.
had a bad day today? That just
I
put
know, I
that
know.
just put the cherry on top right there, man.
I know. But to be fair, that was gonna happen whether we were on the podcast or not, right? So, I don't think that we necessarily jinxed it.
Brad
but,
Hand, you deserve to walk home, even though it's a 4-game series. You should just walk home now. Because Hudson was locked in the 8th. Granted, 2 guys got on, but he got out the inning. You got 2 guys on and gave up a 3-run home run to lose the game.
Yeah.
You gave up 2 runs yesterday. Went into the 9th with a 4-3 lead. You give up 2 runs, Nats lose. Get swept by the last place Orioles. This has got to stop. And going back to Davey taking out Joe Ross to put in Austin Voth, who gave up the 3-run homer to make it a close game. Yeah.
We're far away from this championship team that was behind me, right? You know, like this is not that Nationals team. But I'll sit here and I'll chug this rest of this drink with you. So there you go. We'll pour one out into our livers for that. That might be the nail in the season, Carol. That's not good. So anyway, that's just something we've witnessed very highs. We'll witness very lows, right? We got to watch them win a championship. That's something.
Yeah, I enjoy the highs, but when you see I told you, Robbie, like with hockey,
Yeah, you called it the whole way through.
yeah,
You
like
saw
with
when he was on
hockey, I
deck.
can see when the other team is about to score, and it sucks because I can see the play develop. I already knew what was going to happen, and I was trying to stay positive and think, okay, it's still first and third, 1 out. He can get a double play ball. And he throws one right. I could have hit that one out the park. And I ain't played baseball. I don't know how long. That's just, oh my.
Yeah.
I don't even want to turn on MLB Network because I'm afraid to hear what they're going to say. They might start laughing.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, on that note, it was still a fun show. I still had a good time. I'm sorry.
That was just the cherry on top of my day.
I know. But I mean, I kind of, yeah. I don't know.
All I'm going to say is tomorrow will be a better day.
It will be. It will be. And you know, maybe start watching Olympics. Maybe that'll make you happier than.
Man, I don't know what I got to start doing, Robbie. I mean, if it was the Winter Olympics and it was curling was on, I'll be sitting watching some curling. Summer Olympics, I mean, the track and field is cool, but I hate
think
running.
Of what sports you could that you might like on Summer Olympics?
You know, I hate running, so watching track and field. I used to go to the Penn relays and stuff like that, but
that's awesome. You went to Penn relays?
yeah, my buddy, he used to run track, and I used to go.
That's amazing because I went to Penn, so like I used to go to Penn relays every year. So
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
But
awesome.
I went for different reasons. You know,
Yeah.
that's a different reason for
I
it.
mean,
But-
it's a scene. It's a scene up there. It's honestly the best sporting event. Of the year there. You know, we don't. It's not like it's. But anyway, so we'll end it there. There's not a whole lot.
It's pretty much nothing left else to say, people. All I can say is, thank goodness Washington football team training camp starts tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I might do a pop-up show. Like I said, I won't be down there unfortunately this year, but I might do a show. I'm going to work tomorrow, but if things go according to plan, I might be leaving, a little bit earlier than I'm supposed to because I'm gonna sell some cars. I might do a pop-up show just on some of the observations that I've seen from some of the folks and talk about the Jonathan Allen signing and the repercussions going forward for the rest of the defensive line, the first-round draft picks from the last 4 drafts. And appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Appreciate the support. Go check out the website, www.sportsothp, for all the videos, merchandise, podcast partners, everything that we do. Stay tuned. We got some other things in the works. Got a lot going on just behind the scenes. Just haven't had a chance to seal the deal on some things, but trust me, it's coming. Things are moving. Make sure you go check out the YouTube channel. Unfortunately, for some reason, I'm not streaming on my channel. I don't know what it is. My computer was acting a little funny today, but I'm still on Twitter, still on Facebook, and still, as always, on the Sports OTHP Facebook page and website. In need of a new, used, or pre-owned certified vehicle, come and holler at me down at Waldorf Honda, 2450 Crane Highway, Waldorf, Maryland. Get the deal done. If you're looking for a new, used, pre-owned certified, come on and hit me up. Definitely can take care of you. If you didn't check out the show last week, we had a boxing special with Paul the Boxing Guy. I have it on my YouTube channel. I haven't had a chance to upload it on Anchor yet, but I'll probably get that done in the next couple of days. The week before, we had to watch the football team off-season special, going over the draft picks, free agents, and the schedule. As I said, training camp starts tomorrow, so be on the lookout. I've reached out to a couple of local Washington football team folks, and stay tuned for an interview here or there. I'm not going to drop no names yet until I get a confirmation, but be on the lookout. We brought you the great interview with Julie Donaldson last year, and hopefully trying to follow up on that this year, along with reaching out to some of the other Washington football team personnel that or commentators or radio analysts or whatever you want to call it. So be on the lookout. Washington football team, that's what we do. That's what we started at. That's where the beginning, and it's always going to end with the Washington football team. As always, I'm going to give a shout out. Renegade 703. He just killed it down in Miami for a second show in 2 months down there. He did such a good job. They called him back down there again. I was supposed to be down there, but unfortunately, like I said, I had to sell some cars. I'm going to end this show with one of his videos. I made my acting debut in. He needed somebody to play a role, so I did it. And TJ Made Pro, one of my favorite songs to end the show with. But as always, DC Sports Weather Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And we out. See you next week.
It's good. People, we're going to be rating on my channel. We're going to rate Kenny's. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Happy birthday to Carly last week, to Champ this week, and Zach on Thursday. We'll talk to you guys next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
I love that morning.
Lucas.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you've been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut him mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say. Stay up out of my way. Cause money, 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 make him shut him mouth. Keep playing with this goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised, this is homicide. We just multiply, been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. Use all my cash, niggas on my face. You can get it erased, what you talking about? Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. You don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm ballin', I'm ballin', I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm feeling like Robert's a horror. Nigga, I'm scoring. I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign. So independent, my money be corporate. These raps is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead and let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii. All day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, man. And you can never, ever, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about.
Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, I know, I know, I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. Take me to a place where everybody learns, where everybody sees, where everybody shows their love. I didn't think so. You know, that's why I always try to plan ahead for you or me. I really didn't think so. I take a promise, I give it some love, I make a wish upon a star. You know you gotta get it right. You know you gotta get it right. Ooh, every little thing counts now. Every little bitty thing. Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, I know, I know, I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. It'd be so cool just to celebrate.